What's genuinely frightening is the possibility that you'll spend 4 decades working, contribute to CPP throughout your career, have taxes deducted from every paycheck, finally reach retirement, and then discover your pension isn't enough to support life almost anywhere in Canada. The typical Canadian receives roughly $900 per month from CPP. That's assuming consistent contributions and reasonably solid earnings over the years. Many retirees actually receive less than that. Add old age security, which pays approximately $740 monthly for Canadians aged 65 to 74, and your total reaches around $1,640 each month. Once you turn 75, OAS increases by 10% to about $814 monthly, bringing the combined amount to roughly $1,714. If your income is low enough, you may also qualify for the Guaranteed Income Supplement, potentially adding close to another $1,000 per month for a single person. That gets you somewhere between $2,500 and $2,700 monthly. But here's the uncomfortable question most people avoid discussing. Where in Canada can you realistically live on that amount? Toronto? Not a chance. A typical one-bedroom apartment now rents for more than $2,500 per month. Your pension would disappear entirely into rent before you've paid for food, transportation, or utilities. Vancouver? That's even harder to imagine. Expect to pay around $3,000 for a small bachelor apartment in a less desirable area. Even cities that used to be considered affordable, like Halifax or Kelowna, are becoming increasingly difficult. A one-bedroom apartment in Halifax averages around $1,900. In Kelowna, rents regularly exceed $2,000. The numbers simply don't add up. Housing alone consumes virtually your entire pension income in most Canadian communities. And homeownership isn't much better. The average home price in Canada now sits above $800,000. In Toronto, average values exceed $1 million. In Vancouver, prices continue moving toward $2 million. Even if you somehow saved enough for a down payment, the mortgage payment alone would often exceed what many retirees receive each month. You would need a down payment larger than many people's lifetime savings simply to enter the market, and even then, you'd likely be stretched financially. This is the retirement affordability problem that rarely gets enough attention. We're constantly told to save diligently, plan ahead, and contribute to RRSPs and TFSAs. Plenty of Canadians try to do exactly that. Yet a large number still arrive at age 65 with limited retirement savings, perhaps a modest RRSP balance, and dependence primarily on CPP and OAS. And that monthly income of roughly $1,600 to $1,700 simply isn't enough to maintain life in most places people think of when they picture Canada. But during my research, I found something surprising. There are still communities across the country where pension income alone can make retirement possible. Not merely surviving, but actually living, owning a home, covering everyday expenses, and still having enough left over for occasional treats and activities. These aren't glamorous resort destinations or social media famous hotspots. They're practical communities that most Canadians barely know exist. Places overlooked during the housing boom, towns whose major industries declined but that managed to survive. Communities remote enough, small enough, and unfashionable enough to remain affordable. And that's exactly why they still are. So I started digging deeper. I examined housing market information, studied living cost data, and spent time reading discussions where retirees openly shared real budgets and experiences. Eventually, I found 10 communities where pension income can genuinely stretch. Places where homes can still be purchased outright for under $200,000 in some cases. Places with manageable taxes and lower living costs. Communities where retirement doesn't have to mean constant financial worry. This is that list. 10 overlooked Canadian towns where retirement on pension income alone may actually be possible. Communities ranging from about 11,000 residents to fewer than 3,000. Real towns with real people where retirement dollars still go a meaningful distance. Before diving in though, let's be realistic. Living solely on pension income requires compromises. It usually means embracing small town living. It means distance from major urban centers, fewer restaurants, fewer entertainment options, smaller social circles, less access to big city conveniences. If your ideal retirement includes endless cultural events, diverse dining, and urban energy, these places probably won't appeal to you. But if financial stability, peace of mind, and affordable living matter more, Keep listening. Let's begin with number 10. Elliott Lake, located in northern Ontario, roughly 6 hours from Toronto, and positioned between Sudbury and Sault Ste. Marie, may be one of Canada's most affordable retirement destinations. The town has approximately 11,000 residents. The median home price sits near $125,000, while two-bedroom condominiums can start around $90,000 in 2025. That's astonishingly affordable. I've seen vehicles cost more than that. I've seen weddings with larger budgets. Elliott Lake owes its existence to uranium mining. During the 1950s and 1960s, it was known as the uranium capital of the world. Nuclear energy was booming, and so was the town. When the mines shut down during the 1990s, however, everything changed. Population numbers fell sharply. Younger residents moved elsewhere. The future looked uncertain. But instead of fading away, the town reinvented itself. Its leaders intentionally transformed Elliott Lake into a retirement community. Senior-friendly housing was developed. Existing homes were adapted for accessibility. Retirement residences were built. Healthcare professionals were recruited. Recreation facilities tailored to older residents were created. The community even launched an initiative called Elliott Lake Retirement Living to attract retirees. And remarkably, it succeeded. Today, approximately 40% of residents are seniors. This isn't merely an inexpensive town where retirees happen to live. It is a place deliberately designed around retirement. Healthcare infrastructure reflects that focus. St. Joseph's General Hospital provides services tailored to older adults, including physiotherapy, chronic condition programs, and specialized care for age-related health concerns. Several senior centers offer activities, events, and opportunities to stay socially engaged. Recreational programming specifically targets residents over age 65. In many ways, the town was built for retirement. Outdoor recreation opportunities are extensive considering the population size. More than 300 lakes surround the area. Fishing is a major part of local life. People here don't simply fish occasionally. Many are passionate about it. The Elliott Lake Ski Club offers skiing during winter months. There's also a well-maintained 1/8-hole golf course and countless ATV trails. For anyone who enjoys outdoor activities, Elliott Lake offers plenty. Even those who prefer staying indoors will find modern conveniences. Internet connectivity is surprisingly reliable because the community invested heavily in infrastructure, recognizing that streaming services and online communication are increasingly important. Now let's look at the numbers. Suppose you purchase a comfortable home for $150,000. That's entirely realistic in Elliott Lake. Not a fixer-upper, not a property requiring massive renovations, a genuinely livable house. Property taxes would likely total around $2,000 annually, or approximately $167 per month. Utilities vary by season. Winter heating costs can push monthly utility expenses to around $300. During warmer months, costs may fall to $150 or $200. Groceries cost somewhat more than in major cities because supplies travel long distances, but we're generally discussing perhaps $50 to $75 more monthly. A reasonable grocery budget might sit around $500 per month. Auto insurance is typically cheaper than in the Greater Toronto Area, perhaps around $1,000 annually. Fuel prices can be higher due to the remote location, but retirees aren't commuting daily. Maybe $100 monthly covers local driving. Add everything together. Property taxes, approximately $167 monthly. Utilities, around $250 monthly on average. Groceries, roughly $500. Vehicle expenses, perhaps $125. That's about $1,000 per month in core living expenses. If your pension income totals $1,600 monthly, that leaves approximately $600 available for medications, clothing, recreation, repairs, and unexpected costs. It's not luxurious, but it works. And that's based on a $150,000 house. If you purchased one of those $90,000 condominiums, your costs could be lower still. Of course, there are drawbacks. The community is remote. Sudbury is about an hour away. That sounds manageable until you realize how often you may need to make that trip for shopping or specialist appointments. Sault Ste. Marie is roughly 90 minutes away. Toronto remains a 6-hour drive. If family members stayed in southern Ontario, visits become significant undertakings rather than casual weekend trips. Access to highly specialized healthcare may require travel. Entertainment options are also limited. There isn't a thriving arts district, major theater scene, or extensive collection of galleries and concert venues. Restaurant choices remain fairly basic: pizza, Chinese food, pubs, and casual dining. Fine dining isn't really part of the local experience. Then there's winter. Northern Ontario, winters are long, snowy, and cold. Snow can arrive in October and linger into May. Temperatures occasionally plunge to -30 degrees Celsius. The darkness affects some people more than the cold itself. Short daylight hours, gray skies, and months that seem to blend together can be psychologically difficult. Yet many retirees living there consistently mention one thing: peace of mind. No constant fear of rent increases. No sleepless nights worrying about housing costs. No anxiety that a single unexpected bill could derail their finances. Their homes are paid for. Their expenses are manageable. Food is affordable. Life feels secure. For people who spent decades worrying about money, that feeling alone can be worth more than restaurants, nightlife, or proximity to a major city. For many, freedom from financial stress becomes the greatest luxury of all. Number 9 takes us to Portage-la-Prairie, Manitoba. Portage-la-Prairie may be one of the most practical places on this list because it combines affordability with access to larger city amenities. The population sits at roughly 14,000 people, and the median home price is around $160,000 for a detached house with a yard. Not a tiny condo, not a fixer-upper, but an actual family home in a community with services and infrastructure. Located about an hour west of Winnipeg along the Trans-Canada Highway, Portage offers something many affordable towns cannot: connection. You aren't cut off from the rest of the country. Need specialist medical care, major shopping, or entertainment? Winnipeg is close enough for a day trip. Yet housing remains inexpensive enough that pension income can still stretch comfortably. The town's economy is supported by agriculture, transportation, and rail activity. There is enough diversity to keep the community stable. It isn't booming. It simply remains affordable. The housing market is particularly attractive. 3-bedroom bungalows regularly appear below $200,000. Updated properties with renovated kitchens and bathrooms often remain under $250,000. Property taxes are reasonable, generally around $2,500 annually for an average home. Daily expenses remain manageable. Thanks to Manitoba's hydroelectric system, utility rates are among the lowest in Canada. Auto insurance is publicly administered and generally affordable. Healthcare services are adequate as well. Portage District General Hospital handles most routine needs. More specialized treatment may require a trip into Winnipeg, but that journey is straightforward. The town includes grocery stores, banks, restaurants, pharmacies, and even a Walmart. You can comfortably manage daily life without constantly driving into the city. The weather, however, deserves serious consideration. This is Prairie, Manitoba. Winter temperatures regularly reach -30 degrees Celsius. Occasionally, they drop to -40. Summer can swing in the opposite direction, reaching +35 degrees. The seasonal extremes are real. The landscape is equally dramatic in its simplicity. Flat. Exceptionally flat. If mountains, forests, or ocean views are essential to your happiness, Portage may not be the right fit. But if affordability is your priority, the numbers are hard to ignore. A retiree receiving $1,600 monthly can realistically own a home outright, pay property taxes, purchase groceries, maintain a vehicle, and still have room left in the budget. That isn't theory. People are already doing exactly that. The math works. Number 8 brings us to Morden, Manitoba. Located roughly 75 minutes southwest of Winnipeg, Morden has a population near 10,000 and a median home price around $220,000. While slightly more expensive than Portage, Morden offers something additional: character. This community isn't only affordable, it has developed a reputation for quality of life that exceeds what many people expect from a town its size. Morden proudly markets itself as Manitoba's sunshine capital, claiming more sunny days than any other community in the province. Whether that's entirely accurate or partly marketing is difficult to verify, but residents certainly embrace the idea. The climate is somewhat milder than Portage's. Prairie winters remain cold, but average temperatures are often a few degrees warmer. When you're comparing -25 to -30, that difference feels significant. The downtown area has a surprising amount of activity. Independent shops operate alongside local restaurants and cafes. For a town of this size, there is a genuine sense of community life. One notable attraction is the Canadian Fossil Discovery Centre, which draws visitors from across the region. Residents also enjoy a recreation complex featuring fitness facilities and a swimming pool. During summer, The surrounding Pembina Valley becomes especially attractive, with rolling farmland, sunflower fields, and scenic countryside. Community events occur throughout the year. The Corn and Apple Festival remains one of the area's signature gatherings. Farmers markets are common. The town's Mennonite heritage has shaped a culture that emphasizes community involvement and neighborly support. Some people appreciate that atmosphere. Others may find it a little too close-knit. Healthcare services are strong for a community of this size. Boundary Trails Health Center serves the broader region and addresses most routine medical concerns. Winnipeg remains close enough for specialist appointments without requiring major travel. Living costs remain comparable to Portage. Although many people feel Morden offers a more vibrant lifestyle, the community feels active, engaged, connected. If you purchased a home for approximately $200,000, current mortgage payments would remain below $1,000 monthly. Add taxes, utilities, transportation, and groceries, and many households still remain under $2,000 in total monthly expenses. For retirees who own their homes outright, pension income can comfortably support daily life. Number 7 takes us eastward to Amherst, Nova Scotia. The population is approximately 9,000 residents, and the median home price sits around $280,000. While housing costs are noticeably higher than in the prairie communities, Amherst offers advantages many retirees value: maritime charm, ocean proximity, historic character, and a stronger sense of place. Located near the New Brunswick border, Amherst sits along the narrow land connection, linking Nova Scotia with mainland Canada. Its downtown core features beautiful Victorian architecture and heritage buildings that have survived decades of change. Unlike many communities that demolished their historic centers, Amherst preserved much of its character. The result is a town with personality. Industry once drove the local economy, although much of that activity has faded over time. What remains is a community with attractive infrastructure and a slower pace of life. The Bay of Fundy lies only minutes away. Residents can easily visit the coastline and experience some of the highest tides on Earth. Nearby Tantramar marshes provide excellent birdwatching opportunities and scenic landscapes. Unlike the endless prairie horizon, the environment here offers forests, hills, coastline, and visual variety. For many retirees, that's a major advantage. Living expenses remain reasonable overall. Property taxes average roughly $2,500 annually. Heating costs can be somewhat higher because many homes rely on oil or propane rather than inexpensive hydroelectric power. Still, winter conditions are considerably milder than those found in Saskatchewan or Manitoba. The challenge isn't extreme cold. It's the dampness. Long stretches of gray skies and wet weather can affect some people's mood, but at least you're unlikely to be dealing with -40 temperatures. Healthcare services are available through Cumberland Regional Healthcare Center. Specialized treatment may require travel to Halifax or Moncton, both roughly 2 hours away. For everyday healthcare needs, however, the town is adequately equipped. Doctors, pharmacies, dentists, and basic medical services are available locally. Financially, Amherst works best for retirees who either own their homes outright or carry only a small mortgage. A house purchased for $250,000 with a substantial down payment may still result in manageable monthly expenses. Many retirees relocate from Ontario or British Columbia, sell expensive homes, purchase property here in cash, and dramatically improve their financial situation. The social atmosphere is another benefit. Local events, community gatherings, theater productions, and farmers markets help residents stay connected. The pace is slower, but there is still plenty happening. People know their neighbors. They check in on each other. The community feels genuine. Number 6 is Truro, Nova Scotia. With approximately 13,000 residents and a median home price near $300,000, Truro pushes the upper edge of what many pension-based retirees can comfortably afford. Still, it deserves inclusion because of what it offers in return. Connectivity. Truro is often called the hub of Nova Scotia because highways spread outward in multiple directions from the town. An hour's drive reaches Halifax. Prince Edward Island is accessible. New Brunswick is nearby. Cape Breton can be reached without difficulty. Compared with many communities on this list, Truro feels considerably less isolated. The town also possesses stronger infrastructure. Healthcare services are well established. Major retailers operate locally. Several grocery stores serve residents. And yes, there is even a Costco. Anyone who has spent time in small-town Canada understands why that matters. The downtown core has benefited from revitalization efforts. Independent businesses, cafes, restaurants, and specialty shops help create an active atmosphere. The community feels alive. Housing choices are diverse. Historic century homes appeal to buyers who appreciate character. Modern subdivisions offer newer construction. Condos and townhouses attract retirees seeking lower maintenance living. Of course, a $300,000 median price means homeownership becomes more difficult for retirees relying exclusively on pension income. Many who succeed here do so by downsizing from more expensive housing markets. The cultural landscape is also noteworthy. Mi'kmaq heritage combines with Acadian and Scottish influences, creating a community with meaningful historical depth. Events occur year-round. Summer brings the Salmon Festival. Autumn features agricultural celebrations. Winter includes holiday programming and community gatherings. People remain actively involved. For retirees carrying a mortgage, Truro may stretch the limits of affordability. For those with savings, home equity, or mortgage-free ownership, however, the town offers an excellent balance between cost and quality of life. Milder weather. Access to Halifax. Ocean proximity. A broader range of cultural opportunities. It's a compromise between maximum affordability and maximum convenience. Number 5 takes us back west to Yorkton, Saskatchewan. With a population of roughly 20,000, Yorkton technically qualifies as a small city rather than a town. The median home price sits around $250,000. What makes Yorkton attractive is its balance between affordability and services. Unlike some smaller communities, Yorkton offers a full range of amenities. There is a hospital, shopping options, schools, the Gallagher Center Sports Complex, an arts and cultural venue that regularly hosts performances and events. Residents aren't sacrificing every urban convenience simply to save money. Housing remains surprisingly affordable. Well-maintained homes below $200,000 are common. Even newer properties often remain under $300,000. The regional economy revolves around agriculture. Canola fields, wheat farms, and cattle operations dominate the surrounding landscape. For people who appreciate prairie scenery, the wide-open skies and dramatic sunsets can be beautiful. The city's Ukrainian heritage remains highly visible. Churches, festivals, cultural organizations, and traditional food all contribute to the local identity. If you enjoy pierogies, cabbage rolls, and strong community traditions, you'll feel right at home. Living costs remain low. Property taxes average around $3,000 annually. Utilities are relatively inexpensive. Fuel costs are generally lower than in many parts of Canada. Insurance rates remain manageable. Most importantly, pension income can realistically support a comfortable lifestyle. A retiree with a paid-off home can live without constant financial pressure. Winter, however, is another story. Temperatures frequently fall below -35 degrees Celsius. Strong prairie winds make conditions feel even colder. Blizzards occasionally close highways and disrupt travel. Yorkton is not for people who dislike winter. Fortunately, summer often compensates. Warm temperatures, sunshine, and long daylight hours create an entirely different experience. The community itself feels welcoming. Residents tend to be practical, independent, and neighborly. Social life often revolves around churches, sports organizations, and local events. Healthcare services are solid. Yorkton Regional Health Center handles most medical requirements. Specialist care may require trips to Regina or Saskatoon, but both are within reasonable driving distance. Doctors, dentists, pharmacies, and other healthcare providers are readily available. For many retirees, Yorkton strikes an appealing balance between affordability and functionality. Number 4 takes us farther north to Prince Albert, Saskatchewan. Prince Albert has a population of approximately 38,000 residents, making it the largest community featured on this list. That larger population brings additional services, shopping options, and healthcare resources, although housing prices rise slightly as a result. The median home price sits near $270,000, but patient buyers can still find properties below $200,000. Often called the gateway to northern Saskatchewan, Prince Albert occupies a unique position where prairie landscapes begin giving way to boreal forest. The scenery changes noticeably. There are more lakes, more trees, and greater natural variety than you'll find farther south. For retirees who value outdoor recreation, that's a significant advantage. Prince Albert National Park is nearby, offering fishing, canoeing, hiking, wildlife viewing, and access to some of Saskatchewan's most beautiful wilderness. Moose, elk, and even bears can occasionally be spotted in the region. The city itself offers comprehensive infrastructure. Victoria Hospital provides a broad range of healthcare services. A Saskatchewan Polytechnic campus contributes educational opportunities and local activity. Large retail stores operate throughout the city alongside independent businesses and restaurants. This is a genuine urban center, simply one with a relatively affordable housing market. Housing options are diverse. Older character homes, modern subdivisions, townhouses, and condominiums are all available. Although the median price sits around $270,000, many smaller homes and fixer-uppers remain well below that figure. Flexible buyers willing to compromise on size or location can still find excellent value. Winter conditions are intense. Northern Saskatchewan regularly experiences temperatures approaching minus 40 degrees Celsius. Not wind chill. Actual air temperatures. The season is long, dark, and demanding. Retirees who enjoy spending most of their time indoors may not mind it. Those who prefer year-round outdoor activity may struggle through January and February. Beyond housing, however, living costs remain relatively low. Utility rates are among the most affordable in Canada. Property taxes remain manageable. Public facilities, libraries, recreation centers, and parks provide residents with plenty of services. In many respects, Prince Albert offers city amenities at small city prices. The local culture is practical and unpretentious. A significant Indigenous population contributes to the community's identity and history. The atmosphere feels authentic rather than polished. While certain neighborhoods face challenges associated with poverty and higher crime rates, most residential areas remain stable, affordable, and safe. For retirees with a paid-off home or modest mortgage, Prince Albert can be an excellent option. It is large enough to avoid feeling isolated, affordable enough to support pension living, and surrounded by nature. Number 3 brings us to Corner Brook, Newfoundland. With approximately 20,000 residents and a median home price near $275,000, Corner Brook is not the cheapest community on this list. What it offers instead is something many people consider priceless: spectacular scenery. This is a place where mountains meet the ocean. Fjords carve through the landscape. Steep hillsides overlook dramatic coastal views. The setting feels almost cinematic. Located on Newfoundland's west coast within the Bay of Islands, Corner Brook spreads across slopes that descend toward the water. Nearby Gros Morne National Park ranks among Canada's most remarkable natural destinations. Marble Mountain provides excellent skiing opportunities during winter. The hiking throughout the region is exceptional. For retirees who place a high value on nature, Corner Brook delivers in ways few communities can. Housing remains relatively affordable compared with major Canadian cities. Many homes sell below $300,000. Some remain below $250,000. Condominiums and townhouses can be even less expensive. The housing stock ranges from traditional Newfoundland-style homes to newer suburban developments. In some cases, properties with stunning water views cost a fraction of what similar homes would command in British Columbia. Living costs are a mixed picture. Property taxes are relatively modest. Electricity remains affordable due to hydroelectric generation. However, heating costs can rise during winter because of the cold, damp climate. Food and fuel often cost more because many goods must be transported to the island. Residents pay a premium for island living. Healthcare services are centered around Western Memorial Regional Hospital, which provides strong everyday medical care. For highly specialized treatment, travel to St. John's may occasionally be necessary. That's a significant journey, roughly 7 hours by road. For routine healthcare needs, though, Corner Brook is well equipped. The local culture is one of the city's strongest selling points. Newfoundland is famously social. People talk to strangers. Neighbors become friends. Community connections form naturally. Music remains an important part of local life, and storytelling traditions continue to thrive. Some retirees absolutely love that atmosphere. Others who prefer privacy may find it overwhelming. Financially, Corner Brook can work very well for retirees who own their homes outright or carry limited debt. The scenery, lifestyle, and community spirit provide substantial value. The trade-off is distance from the rest of Canada and somewhat higher costs for everyday goods. Number 2 is Campbellton, New Brunswick. Home to roughly 7,000 residents, Campbellton combines affordability, natural beauty, and a surprisingly appealing location. Median home prices remain under $300,000, with many properties available well below that level. What makes Campbellton stand out is its setting. Situated along the Restigouche River near the Quebec border, the town enjoys mountain views and access to exceptional outdoor recreation. Yet despite its beauty, relatively few Canadians ever consider it as a retirement destination. The scenery is outstanding. The Appalachian Mountains rise in the distance. River valleys create stunning landscapes. Sugarloaf Provincial Park offers skiing during winter and hiking throughout summer. Atlantic salmon fishing attracts enthusiasts from around the world. Nature lovers will find plenty to appreciate. Housing affordability remains one of Campbellton's greatest strengths. Comfortable homes below $200,000 remain available. Properties overlooking the river can often be purchased for less than $300,000. Housing choices range from historic century homes to modern bungalows. Property taxes remain manageable. Utility costs are generally reasonable. The community itself is bilingual. French and English are both commonly spoken. Acadian heritage remains an important part of local culture. Residents enjoy the benefits of a small-town environment without feeling completely isolated. Basic services are readily available. Restaurants, schools, healthcare facilities, banks, and local shops serve the population effectively. The essentials are covered. Overall, living costs are relatively low. Groceries may cost slightly more than in major urban centers, but the difference is manageable. Crime rates remain low. The town feels safe. Residents often describe a strong sense of community and neighborly support. The major drawback is employment. For working-age residents, job opportunities can be limited. For retirees living on pension income, however, that concern largely disappears. Distance from major urban centers remains another consideration. Moncton is roughly 2.5 hours away. Quebec City is about 4 hours away. Accessing specialized healthcare or major services may require travel. Still, for everyday life, Campbellton provides most necessities. For retirees seeking beauty, affordability, and a slower pace of life, it represents one of Canada's best-kept secrets. And now we arrive at number 1. The community that may offer the strongest combination of affordability and retirement security anywhere in Canada. Shaunavon, Saskatchewan. Population: approximately 1,700. Median home price: around $110,000. Yes, that's correct. In some cases, a year's worth of pension income could nearly purchase a home outright. Located in southwestern Saskatchewan near the Montana border, Shaunavon is small, remote, and remarkably affordable. Housing prices remain almost shockingly low by modern Canadian standards. Older character homes, renovated bungalows, and family houses can often be purchased for under $100,000. Finding a comfortable 3-bedroom property below that threshold is not unusual. The community's economy depends primarily on agriculture, with some contribution from oil and gas activity. Growth may be modest, but the town remains stable. Essential services are available. Residents have access to healthcare, schools, grocery stores, and everyday necessities. This is a functioning community, not a town in decline. Despite its small population, local engagement remains strong. Community events, sports programs, and recreational activities help maintain a sense of connection. People live here because they genuinely enjoy the lifestyle. Living expenses are extraordinarily low. Property taxes may total only around $1,000 annually. Utility rates remain affordable. Insurance costs are low. Food prices are somewhat higher than in larger Saskatchewan cities due to the remote location, but not dramatically so. For retirees, the financial math is almost unbeatable. A person receiving approximately $1,600 per month in pension income and owning a paid-off home can live comfortably. Not extravagantly, but comfortably. Bills can be paid. Groceries can be purchased. Savings can still accumulate. Financial pressure becomes dramatically reduced. Of course, Shaunavon demands sacrifices. Winter conditions are severe. -40 temperatures occur regularly. Strong winds and heavy snow create difficult conditions. Cold weather can feel relentless. Fortunately, retirement allows flexibility. Many residents simply stay indoors during the harshest periods and wait for spring. Summer tells a completely different story. Warm temperatures, sunshine, and endless prairie skies create a peaceful environment. Isolation remains perhaps the town's biggest challenge. Swift Current is approximately 90 minutes away. Regina is about 2.5 hours distant. Specialized healthcare, major shopping, and cultural attractions require travel. Those seeking gourmet dining, large concerts, or urban nightlife won't find them here. What Shaunavon offers instead is something increasingly difficult to find anywhere in Canada: financial security. A retiree can own a home outright, pay every bill, maintain a vehicle, purchase groceries, set money aside for emergencies, and live without constantly worrying about finances. For many people, that peace of mind is worth more than almost any other amenity. So there you have it. 10 overlooked Canadian communities where retirement on pension income alone may still be possible. From Elliott Lake's retirement-focused infrastructure to Shaunavon's remarkably low housing costs. From the maritime atmosphere of Amherst and Campbellton to the practical prairie affordability of Portage-la-Prairie and Yorkton, these are real places where real retirees continue to build meaningful lives on fixed incomes. Would I personally retire in one of these communities? I'm not entirely sure. Some days, the idea of purchasing a house for $100,000 sounds incredibly appealing. Other days, I remember how much I enjoy cities, restaurants, cultural activities, and convenient access to specialized healthcare. That's the reality. Every choice involves trade-offs. None of these communities are perfect. Each requires certain sacrifices. Yet they all provide something becoming increasingly rare in modern Canada: the opportunity to retire with dignity, to own a home, to pay monthly expenses without fear, to live free from constant financial anxiety. If retirement is approaching and your pension statement leaves you wondering how you'll afford life in Canada's major cities, perhaps it's worth looking beyond the places everyone already knows. Maybe financial stability and peace of mind matter more than being close to the latest trendy restaurant. And if you've retired in one of these communities, or somewhere similar, leave a comment. Tell me what I got right. Tell me what I overlooked. Tell me whether living solely on pension income truly works in practice, or whether there are hidden expenses that deserve more attention. I'd love to hear your experience. Judging by housing prices and retirement income levels, I'm certainly not the only person wondering whether affordable retirement still exists somewhere in Canada.